Hello marketers, and in this video we're going to discuss about the enhanced e-commerce tracking in GA4. So how is it implemented in GA4 and how is it integrated into GA4, and let us see and what are the events or the important actions that the users do on an e-commerce website. So the enhanced e-commerce tracking is very much important for any e-commerce website because they would like to track the user interaction with the products, and they would like to know the number of products that are popularly added to the cart and which are having more performance, like which is getting the more number of clicks or which product is added to the cart for the more number of times, and the number of purchases that a product gets, and what's the view to the cart rate. So all these kind of events and the analysis of the product performance and the checkout performance and everything can be done only by implementing the e-commerce tracking on a website. So this could be done through GTM, and we are going to implement all these events related to e-commerce as the product views, and the product clicks, and the product detail views, and the product add to cart, and the promotion related events and checkouts, purchases, and refunds. So these are all the events that e-commerce website could track or can track through the enhanced e-commerce tracking. So in this video, we are going to have an overview about these events and the metrics and the analysis of this in the Google Analytics 4, and then we are going to implement live in the site in an e-commerce site, that is the Pujanidhi website, the add to cart and the purchase events and how are they being tracked, and this data is being sent to analytics. And in the similar way we can also track all the other uh, product views or the detail views or the checkouts and refunds. All these can be done in the same way. So for this we need a lot of support from the data layer. So the data layer could be implemented by ourselves, or we can take the help of the developer in order to send the product data or the product related details about a particular product when a product is being clicked or when it being added to the cart. We need to suggest the developer to push a particular data layer event so that we can use that as a trigger when we send the data to Google Analytics. Right now, I'm going to implement the add to cart section in this video. And first, let us have an overview about the enhanced e-commerce tracking and where do we have these reports in GA4. So these reports are available first in GA4 under the monetization section and e-commerce purchases. So here we'll have all the details related to the e-commerce purchases. And now here we have the details of the e-commerce purchases related data we get once we implement the enhanced e-commerce tracking. So before we implement, we need to know the advantages of implementing enhanced e-commerce tracking on our website. So from this tracking, we can understand the item views, so the number of views a product gets. So we'll have all the item product details, and we also have several other dimensions like the ID, brand, and based upon this we can analyze the data, the number of views the product gets and number of add to carts for a particular product, and also the e-commerce purchases and the number of times the product is viewed, and the ratio of that to the number of times the product is added to the cart. Here we have this metric in order to analyze the percentage of products being viewed and then added to the cart. And also we have the e-commerce purchases, and all the other details will be available once we implement the enhanced e-commerce tracking on our website. So let us now start implementing the e-commerce tracking on our website, on the Pujanidhi website. And now I'm going to implement the add to cart event related to the e-commerce. And before going to implement that, we are going to have a look upon the guide or the documentation that is provided by Google to implement the enhanced e-commerce tracking in GA4. As we all are aware, we have enhanced e-commerce tracking in the GA3 too, but the difference is there is a difference in the data layer implementations. So here, this is the structure of the data layer for impressions, and then let us have a look at the add to cart. So this is the data layer structure for add to cart details to be provided in the data layer. But right now in the GA4 we have a different data layer structure to be provided so that Google identifies those products are being viewed or added to the cart. So let us go see if we have this product details view. We have an event name view underscore item, and e-commerce. And the e-commerce we have all the items as a list that are being viewed. So if we go to the shopping cart section, here we have the event add underscore to underscore cart is the event name that need to be pushed into the data layer. So this is being identified as a product being added to the cart, and the details of the product would be mentioned in an items array, and each product would be mentioned as an object. So all the properties related to the item like the name, ID, price, brand, everything would be available in this object. So now we are going to implement it using this, and in the next video we will be implementing using the already implemented data layer. If we right now we do not have any developer support, then we can implement it using the existing data layer by using the GA3 data layer structure and send data to analytics for the purchase event. So right now we are going to implement the add to cart using the new GA4 data layer structure. So let us keep it in the preview mode, and let us see how our data layer is available. So right now I have already implemented the data layer in the form that the Google Analytics has mentioned for the enhanced e-commerce tracking to be available. The data layer structure is in that form right now. And if you can see here, I've been going to this product, and when I add a product to the cart, so this is the data layer event that is being pushed into the data layer, and we have the data layer structure in this form. So the event is add to cart, and the e-commerce and the item in this items array we have the list of the items that are added to the cart. So using this event we can now trigger an event to Google Analytics that's an e-commerce event mentioned as add to cart, and then send this data to Google Analytics. So now let us see the next step of this is sending data to Google Analytics through creating an e-commerce event tag. So now let us create a new e-commerce event tag. So you might be thinking, how is this being implemented, right? So this can be implemented by yourself by using the DOM scraping, or you can take the help of the developer in order to push all the details when a particular action happens on your website. That is, when a product is added to the cart, you could suggest the developer to push all the details related to that items into the e-commerce items array, and also along with that, with each data layer push, we need to send an event so that we can use that in the form of trigger, custom event trigger in GTM, and then send the data to GA4. So with the help of developer, this task would become much easier. So just take the help of the developer. If in case if it's not possible, then we can implement it using the DOM scraping. So we have the data layer structure in this form right now, so we can use this event as the custom event. And now I'm going to configure the tag. So the GA4 event and the configuration tag, and the event name is add underscore to underscore cut, and the title of this is GA4 add to cart tag. And now along with this event, we did a lot of events implementation. We always should have the associated parameters with that event to have more value to the event. So I'm going to add the parameter name here, items, and here we should add a data layer variable that would grab the items that are present in the data layer and send this to Google Analytics. So let me initially keep some of the other. Later on, I'm going to change it after creating the data layer variable. So now we are going to create a data layer variable that would grab the items from the data layer. So let us create a data layer variable. So this is a data layer variable, and it could be named as ecommerce.items. Name the variable as the e-commerce items. This is e-commerce items. So we have created a variable, and this variable can be used to supply the value to our parameter in the Google Analytics tag. You have this tag. Now we are replacing the sample value that we kept with the actual value, and we can select it from here to search for DLV e-commerce items. So just remove the previous one. So I have selected the DLV e-commerce items. So here we have the add underscore to cart items and the DLV e-commerce items. So this is the details that are required by Google to analyze these reports and generate the reports for us depending upon the product performance. So add to cart is event name, and we have sent the parameters items, and then this should be triggering on our event that we have pushed into the data layer. So this is fine with the tag, and now it's the triggering time. We need to create a custom event trigger. So for that, we need to select the tag type as the custom event, and then here mention event name. Add to cart. Exactly, the event name should be mentioned here. So this is the trigger for our tag, and we are going to save this tag. So let's preview this and let us see. Once the product is being added to the cart, this data should be initially sent to GA4. Then we can see and analyze the data about the products that are being added to the cart by our users, and can have a clear idea about the product performance. So I'm going to one of my products in the e-commerce website. So let me go to this product, and now I'm going to add this to cart. So the product is being added to the cart. So the event is generated in the data layer, and at this particular event, the GA4 data is being sent. And just go to the data layer. We have the data layer, e-commerce, and the event, and these are the item list that is being added to the cart. So let us see the GA4 event that is being sent. So this is the GA4 add to cart event, and we have the event parameters as this, and the event parameters are always name value pairs, and the name is items, and the values consist of all the item details. The item properties related to a particular product. And I hope I could see this data in the real time or the debug view. Let me see it in the debug view. So this is a wonderful opportunity given by GA4 to debug events or tags. So let us see here, it's take little time to get loaded. And here we have the add to cart event. So we have the parameters passed with this. This is the add to cart event, and let us see the parameters that are passed with this one. Under add to cart event, this data would be directly sent to Google Analytics. And let us see here the parameter section. We have all these in this, and they also the data related to them. The debug mode is on, and the other things over here. So this data is being now sent to Google Analytics. So here we have clearly in the event parameters as the items and the value that is being sent to the Google Analytics, and this data could be easily analyzed in the reports. Thank you.